Welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about how to use Excel to uh, format data tables. This is going to be a series of 4 videos to help us use Excel in physics. As you see here, I have 2 data tables that I've already created. And this is for an experiment where we are changing the voltage and seeing how current flows in a circuit. I just picked this one just arbitrarily. It's nothing, not a big deal, but I'm going to talk you through how I choose what my data table should look like, and then also create those data tables using simple Excel formatting rules and stuff. So here we go. I have, whenever you do your data tables, you're going to have 2 of them. You're going to have a raw data table where you're going to actually record the raw data from your experiment, and then you're going to have an analyzed data table, which is after you already analyzed, taken the average, found the uncertainties. This will be the data table that we will use to graph later on. So our raw data is just for us to collect the data. The analyzed data is actually the important part where we've actually taken the data and made something meaningful out of it. So first of all, I want to start with creating the raw data table. And so I'm just going to use this as a template. And so if you notice here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Now the reason why I have 4 rows is because the first row is going to be the title of the column. The second row identifies the variable and the units. And then the third row identifies the uncertainty, if there is a measured uncertainty. Now, I also added a 4th row because I like to do 3 trials, and I like to keep them all put together underneath my dependent variable. And so I add a 4th row where I can actually write in those trials right below my dependent variable. I'm sorry. So our first column is our independent variable, and this is what we're choosing to make. And so I chose to change voltage, and so I'm going to go ahead and create that just by typing this stuff in. You just type it in, or because I already have it here, this is something you can do. You can actually copy and paste if you have all the information already available. And then same thing with this one. So let's copy, and let's go ahead and paste. But in this case, I want to paste special because I don't want to get the formatting of the table just yet. I just want to put the values there. Okay, so this is what happens whenever you just paste, and then if you want to just put the values, then this is what it looks like. It doesn't have any formatting with it. So now I want to go ahead and format this, and I want my current to go over the complete dependent variable side. Same thing with my variable and units and my uncertainty. And so I'll go ahead and merge those cells, which is what I just did, and center them. And so now they go over the complete area. Now what I want to do is I want to add a border to this. And so I'm going to go up here to the border button, which is up here at the top. And I'm going to click, I just want a thick box border, something to box them in so that they're not out there by themselves. And so this way, this whole set of information is one set or one group. Now what I want to do is I want to add my places where I can write in my variables or my raw data. And so I chose to do 6, but you could choose however many. I could keep going down if I wanted to, but let's go ahead and just put this many, however many there are, and then this is what we'll do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this area, and I'm going to go up here to borders, and I'm going to choose more borders. Now what this does is it opens up a formatting pane where I can change the number, the type of number, the alignment, the font, the border, but in this case I want to just look at the border. So I want a thick outside border, and then on the inside I want some thin borders. Now if I look here, I have my voltage in this column, and then I have my 3 trials. I don't really like the way that looks, so let's go ahead and redo that. So I'm going to right click on it, format cells. This brings up the border thing again. And in this case, let's add a horizontal thin line like this. But I want a thicker line in between my voltage and current, so let's highlight the current part, format the cells again, and do the border also. So now I have a thick border between my current and my voltage. And I chose the wrong one, so let's do it here also. Make them really thick. You can make these borders as thick as you want to, but now you can actually see that there is a big difference between my independent variable side and my dependent variable side. And it separates the data out, so it's easier to understand later on when we're talking about it or you're citing that in your conclusions. Now your analyzed data table, well, it's just the same way. It's really not that difficult to do, and so let's go ahead and copy this stuff, and we'll go ahead and just paste the values. We just want the numbers. And let's go ahead and center these. Center. Center. And center. Now, if you noticed, on this one, I have 3 columns in the fact that I have my voltage, which is just like my voltage over here. And I have my current, but in this case, I'm not having trials. I actually took the average of the current, so this is how I analyze the current. And then I have my uncertainty in the current. Now, it's not going to be the same each time because I've actually averaged, and so there's an average uncertainty that we'll actually get to that's actually less than this, or should be less than this, depending on how well my measurements come out. And so once again, let's go ahead and highlight. Now, I'm going to go ahead and highlight these separately. Now, I do this by holding down Control and dragging. And if you notice, these 3 areas are highlighted separately. So whenever I go in here and I go to Format Cells, well, now whatever I put on this right here is going to treat each of these as 3 different sets. And so on the other data table, the one over here, I have a thick outside border, so let's keep that. And then over here, I want some thin inside borders, and so we'll keep that. So like this. Now, I don't really like the way this turned out up here at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and reformat that. And let's go ahead and make a thick bottom border. Right, but let's get rid of this inside border. I don't really like that there. So now it makes them all one set just by removing those borders. And so now I have a nice looking raw data table and a very nice looking analyzed data table.